How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. We've actually been, Madeline and myself and some really good friends of ours, we've been in the Bahamas for the past little over a week or so. We're kind of wrapping up the trip, and I really didn't film as much as I probably should have. I do have a little bit of trouble filming on vacation. It kind of removes me from the vacation. It takes my attention away, but I did film some underwater stuff, and it's not the traditional catch and cook style stuff that I normally put out, but I figured someone out there would enjoy it, so I am going to share it. We did some spear fishing, shot some really nice fish on pole spear. We harvested some conch, did some snorkeling, all the stuff you should do in the Bahamas. But yeah, I wanted to share it. For those of you who like it, we'll do some narrative over the spear fishing. That's enough rambling on my end. Let's get to the video. Welcome back underwater, everybody. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. We're going to talk about some of these dives, some of these fish scenarios, all of that good stuff. This entire video is going to be diving. So if you don't enjoy diving and spearfishing, this is probably not the right video for you. So this was actually the first day we spent the whole day diving. A lot of the diving we did was shallower, in the 40 to 30 foot range. A lot of coral heads, hot drops, what I call. And what that means is you pull up, jump in, you don't anchor or anything. Pull up, jump in, check a coral head or check an area real quick, hop back in and move along. Cover a lot of ground that way, and it can be very effective. So some of these clips, I'll just let them run raw. Some of them we'll talk about. And hopefully you enjoy all of it.
Okay. Big one.
That's a cabera.
Oh.
So as you saw in that clip there, I zoomed in, there was a big old Kubera snapper swam by, and I quickly learned just after the first day, there were big Kubera all over the place. And not that I would shoot a big one, not my favorite thing to eat, but they're really cool to see, and apparently from what my buddies were telling me, they're really hard to get shots on here. Unless you can get one to rock up, for the most part, it's going to be difficult to get a shot on one, because if you're not familiar, the Bahamas are pole spear only. You cannot use spear guns. So that really limits your range. This was another set of coral heads we dropped in on. This is my buddy Kevin dropping down. Real nice hog came in right away. Let's see him loading up the pole spear. Waiting for it to turn. Got a good shot. Real nice hogfish. There were big hogs all over the place. Really cool to see. I really enjoy the pole spearing. It's really, really fun. Really challenges your ability to get close to the fish and practice your actual hunting.
Nice. Woo.
So this is that same set of heads. Kevin pulled that nice hogfish off. And anytime I see a coral head or a rock that looks like it could have some hollow sections of it, I'm always going to go down there, even if I don't think it does. I'm going to go down there and take a look with my light, because you really never know what you're going to find inside these coral heads. The big French angelfish in there, and I'm coming around the corner, going to check the other side, and I see these nice yellow jack coming in, so I quickly try to get loaded. One turns right at me and give it almost a little hip fire there. And I didn't have a belt reel, because what they were saying, we were going to be diving 30, 40 feet most of the time, so I didn't bother with the belt reel. And this jack wasn't that big, but it definitely put up a little fight. A lot of times when people use the pole spears, they'll either have a float line or they'll have a belt reel that they can attach for safety. That way, if something, big jack or African pompano or something does come in, You don't got to stay down there and fight it, and they don't swim away with your pole spear.
Holy shit.
Yellowfin grouper. This was the next spot we hop in. There's fish all over the place. Kind of hard to pick them all up with the camera being a little zoomed out, but initially dropped in, see a nice yellowfin grouper. There was a black grouper. There was some hogfish off in the distance. Babe, shoot it.
Hey, look here. Right there.
That's a grouper. Oh, the yellowfin. You can shoot it. Drop on something.
You go.
No,
I want to go.
I'm waiting on you.
No, I don't.
So I had just shot a fish. So I was trying to get Madeline to shoot something, but she was feeling a little feisty. She didn't want to drop. Maybe nerves or something. So I decided, I haven't never shot a yellowfin in the Bahamas. I've shot one here in Key West, but decided I'd drop and give it a go. There was 2 blacks that we saw, 2 yellowfin swimming around. And I was just waiting for it to turn and just wouldn't. And you know I hate meat shots, so I was going to try and run it up the gill plate. And I ended up hitting it just a little low. You can see a nice Nassau shot out as well. There goes one of the black grouper. This spot was just loaded. You can see Gavin coming up with a hogfish. And I saw the blacks. I just didn't want to take a black because I shoot them all the time over here in Key West. We don't get a ton of yellowfin here. We get some here and there. And I didn't really like my shot, so I just let the fish go, and hopefully it was going to be rocked up. But I had kind of a bad feeling. I knew I hit it a little low. So I came back down to try and locate it, and it wrapped around the rock, went back through this little corridor, and pulled out, unfortunately. So next step is to locate the fish. A lot of times if you shoot a fish and injure it, they're going to go hide somewhere. They're going to go in the coral head and rock up, as we say. Yeah, he gave me a weird shot. I tried to run it up his gill plate, but he's in there. I'll find him. So I actually missed this shot of Madeline. I was kind of bummed. I wanted to get this clip. There was another, what we thought was a different yellowfin, came out from the other side and ended up being the one I tore out of. And I thought my camera was off, and I went to turn it on, and I actually turned it off, and I missed the whole shot. But she went down, put another shot in the yellowfin, and brought it up.
Hey.
Good job, baby. Huh? You can see right here, this is where I hit it and tore out of it. I tried to run it up the gill, just hit it a little low. Oh, it is. That's the one that I tore out of.
Oh, teamwork.
Good job, baby. So that was Mr. Gavin checking the rock out. I actually had a flashlight with me. And we saw so many fish swirling around. Of course, I wanted to get up in here and see what was all in there because there was a few grouper in and out. We didn't know where the rest of them went. And I peek my head in here and I see really big lips, grouper lips. And I realize there is a much bigger black grouper in the hole that we hadn't seen yet. I wanted to have a fresh breath on it.
Black grouper in there?
There's a big black in there.
I was gonna say, I thought I just saw a big
There's a big Nassau on top, but there's a big black too.
I thought I saw a big black.
That's another.
Flashlight?
That other one was decent.
Yeah, the other one's bigger.
The other one's
big.
Yeah, he's big.
30 pounds at least. Can you get your light?
Alright, good.
So as you heard there, Gavin actually saw that fish as well. He didn't have a light, but he could tell it was in there. And we kind of chatted about it, and I told him he didn't have a camera on him. I told him he could take a shot, and I'll film it. Thought it'd be kind of cool to get a third-person shot. So right here, he's trying to get an angle on it. A lot of people have trouble with this, getting real low and tilting your head. A lot of times when you're hole hunting, that's what you got to do. You really got to get in there, get upside down, lay on your side, and you'll hear the sound here. Gavin lines up, and you could hear his sound of disapproval there.
I should have came back up.
You fluff it?
Yeah, I hit him low. He's in there.
So I figured I'd give it a go. Haven't shot many grouper on pull spear, especially big ones. You know I love my black grouper. So the fish I thought was in the first hole still, and I looked to the right just to check because a cloud had formed, and I see it again. The same fish just moved over. See it again. And we weren't sure where it went after Gavin took his shot, but all it did was shift over a little bit. And I line up here, and you'll see me not listen to my own advice. So I line up exactly where I wanted, and I should have taken the pole spear and pushed it forward to drive it, because I knew this was a big fish, got a big head, big bones, and I immediately start pulling on it instead of pushing like I always preach, and fish takes off, darts to the other side, and it pulled right out, which was, again, my mistake. I talk about that all the time. Shoot a grouper in a hole, you want to push your shaft forward to try and drive it. He's big.
Huh?
I said, okay, he's big.
Yeah, he's 35.
I don't know how that didn't come, or that
I don't
didn't
know how-
stick.
Yeah, you had a good shot.
And one of the main reasons being, especially if you shoot it in the head with a slip tip, bone is hard, and the slip tip won't be able to toggle and turn until it gets past something that it can turn into. So you shoot it in the head, it's all bone. And the slip tip just went straight in. It toggled a little bit. You'll see it tore a good section out of the fish's head. But I just didn't get it all the way through, and it wasn't enough to toggle. But it was funny enough, we couldn't tell what happened because Gavin drops, and you'll hear him say later, he just lines up and shoots it and pulls it right out, but he says that the fish was actually dead in the hole. So we don't know if, he said it was laying on its side, like kind of upside down, so we don't know if when it ran and my slip tip yanked out, if it brained it a little bit and the fish died. You'll see Gavin there, shot it in the head and pushed again, but I thought that was interesting, kind of cool. But it was a really nice team fish. Great black grouper. We didn't weigh it, but it was a good one.
Nice job.
Nice.
He's laying there dead. or I stoned him, whichever
Do
one.
what?
It was. He's laying there dead. He was literally on his side.
Oh, was he really?
Yep.
Dude, I hit him right. That's where I hit him. I was like, I was like, I thought I had a good shot. That's why I put pressure on it. I pulled it right out. Something that I actually had trouble with was judging the size of the hogfish, because even the females, the average female hogfish was probably, I don't know, 3 to 5 pounds, which is a really nice hogfish. It's just because they were female, I had a hard time judging their size. Normally you're looking for the male with the big brown snout, but like this one came in, and it was actually a really nice fish. It's just I had trouble judging them, and there were a couple scenarios where I would pass on fish and someone else would shoot it and they'd get it in the boat. And it was a 5 pound hogfish. I don't know, I thought that was interesting. Because normally I'm pretty good at judging fish. I don't know if it was because the water was so clear or because they were only female hogfish that I was seeing. But there were some really, really nice hogs that everyone else put on the boat. Little Nassau grouper there. So this was a little wreck that my buddy Trent found, and we went and checked it out. There was tons of mangroves all over it, some jacks, saw a couple muttons out in the sand, but wanted to do some target practice, try and tune in my pole spearing skills, line up and swing and a miss. And I thought these snapper were good at dodging a spear gun, which a spear gun is way faster than a pole spear, and I quickly learned that they're way better at jumping the trigger on a pole spear. Especially the smaller mangroves are real fast, real shifty. They're moving in and out, and it is really great target practice, though I will say. But I did have a couple scenarios where I thought I had good shots, and they were just quick. After being fooled a couple times, I figured I would change my tactic and try and target the snapper closer to the structure, the ones that weren't moving around as much, and it became a lot more effective. Great shot on the mangrove. Unfortunately, I hit a grunt in the process. Felt bad, but it does happen sometimes. After looking around a while, when we first jumped in, there were big snapper all over the place, and they slowly started to disappear. But after looking around for a while, I realized that they were all tucked up in these tiny little holes, so figured I was going to get in here and try and wait for a big one to come up front, and just patiently waiting. Wait for this one to turn, and it turns. I let it go. This was pretty funny. And I just happened to hit two right in the head. No meat shots, luckily. That was kind of neat. First for me. Double mangrove on pole spear. As always, brain and bleed.
There's conch everywhere. There's 4 right here.
So on the way in, we decided we'd pick up some conch. Trent had a really productive conch spot. They were all over the place. But from my understanding, they do have a size limit. They have to have a big, what they call defined flare on the shell. You'll see I'll pick a couple up and you can see the difference. That one had a nice big flare on the edge. And those are the ones, from my understanding, that you're allowed to harvest. You're not allowed to harvest the smaller ones. I will say, though, this little scooter was awesome for this. Could run around, cover a lot of ground, find some of the bigger ones a lot faster. So you can see these, for example, don't have that big flare. They're not big enough. You can pretty much see from the top of them, but I just wanted to show you. And something else that I learned that Trent actually told me is if you pick them up, you want to make sure you put them back down the way you found them. That they can't flip back over on their own. If you lay them down on their, I guess, their back, so to speak, they can't roll back over on their own and they will die. So if you're picking them up, looking at them, just make sure you set them back down the way you found them. And something else I've heard here is the thickness of the lip. You want to make sure it's a nice thick lip. It's not like paper thin. This one I was feeling. That one was nice and thick. That one, the other one to the right, was a lot thinner, so I left that one be. And just to be clear, all this diving took place over about 8 days. We didn't do a ton of diving, maybe 2 or 3 days. Did a little bit of goofing off. We did some deep dropping and some other stuff that I didn't film, but this was the first spot of the morning on a different day. I dropped down, look in this cave, and there's a big old hogfish, and I didn't have my spear ready. So I decided I was going to go back up, hopefully get a second shot on it, and be ready the next time. But this spot was a lot different. More, I guess, structure, more ledges, bigger rocks, a lot of coral than the other coral heads in the smaller areas we were hitting. These spots can be great, but they also can be cumbersome because there's too many areas to hide. It can be a lot harder to find fish in this because they have all these intricate tunnels and caves and corridors that they can escape through. So good structure, but it also can be very difficult structure. So I came back down again, ready to roll this time. I started on the left because it was a little easier entrance to get into, and it wasn't there, so I came to the right and I see the hogfish, and I go to line up and my pole spear's smacking this rock behind me and I couldn't get the angle I wanted. And by the time I fixed it, it was out the back exit and I lost my opportunity. But you'll see here, that's where I smacked it, right there on the edge of that rock.
That cave is like grouper dreams.
So this was our next spot. I think it was maybe 40, 45. A lot of shallow diving. It was really nice. And you'll see here I'm just dropping and scanning and a black grouper shoots across. And I didn't have as good of a breath as I would like to go down there and try and get it in the same dive. So just keep an eye on where it went, get up to the surface and get a fresh breath and give it a go. So I'm getting loaded. I saw what cave it went in, but a lot of times it's not going to be in the same hole. Most of these are connected. These fish know them pretty well for the most part, in my experience. I come over here, look, and it just dusts me. The second I saw it, put the light on it, it just dusts me, headed out the back. So I'm trying to keep an eye out to see if it's going to come around the corner, come around back. And I go over the top and you can see the dust trail. And now I'm trying to figure out where it might have gone, how to track it. Being the first time I've dove this spot, I don't know it as well. A lot of the spots at home, I know how they're laid out. I know where a fish is going to go. But this one in particular, I was starting from scratch. So here on the surface, this is what's going through my head, but I'm pointing at it so you can see. I'm pointing at where it started, where I last saw it, where I saw the cloud, and then just trying to attempt to map out where I think it may have gone. I'll search each area individually and hopefully try and locate it that way. So skip a couple dives. I actually did maybe 3 or 4 dives up in the holes with the light. Wasn't able to find it, so I actually asked Madeleine to hold my pole spear. It's a lot easier to search without one. That way if I can just get eyes on it, see where it's at, it'd be a lot easier to put a shot in it. Dragging that pole spear around while sticking your head in caves can be a little cumbersome. And I'm just about on my way up, and I look up to my right, and there's the black grouper. Shooting across, goes in that cave, and comes back out and stares at me.
He's literally sitting out in the open. I didn't have my pole spear.
So this part of the video is up for debate. You can see there's a shark down there. After I saw that last fish, I went and got my pole spear back from Madeleine, and what looked like to me a bigger black grouper came out. It was acting very friendly. It was not acting like the first one. The first one was very skittish. But I don't know. It may have been the same fish and I just misjudged the size, but to me this one looked bigger than the first one, and it was being way more friendly. It was out in the open, so I decided I'm going to take a drop on it, see if I can get it to turn on me. I want to get loaded ahead of time so I'm not doing too much movement as I get close to it. Slowly swimming away, but you can see it's not acting like the first one. And once they start doing this, they're going to dodge in and out of these little channels. So I decide I'm going to have to cut it off. So that's what I do. I go up over this one, try to cut it off, and it turns just enough. And I don't like that shot. I threw a Hail Mary out of frustration, and I could not believe that it stuck. You'll see here it just barely went into the tail. An inch in any direction other than farther forward, and this would have torn out in a split second.
I was like, screw it. I'm going for the tail.
And you'll see here, this is just a Hail Mary fadeaway jump shot that I just got lucky on. I really could not believe that stuck.
You ain't gonna believe this. That's dumb luck right there. Yeah.
So these were actually a couple rocks we found on accident. This was closer to, I think this was more like 60. You can see it's a little bit deeper, but just isolated big rocks out in the middle of nowhere. And we had a feeling that there was going to be something big here. We each did a few drops. There wasn't a whole lot. There was one small cubera. There was actually one big cubera that was probably 40, maybe bigger, but same thing. Wouldn't give anyone a look at it. Not that I would have shot it if I had the chance, but just really nice big heads. And you can see here's another big female hogfish. Briefly, you saw it. And I passed on it, and Gavin actually ended up shooting it. It was like a 5-pound hogfish. And I kept blowing my mind. I just couldn't get my judgment on the hogfish right. But really, really cool find. A lot of times these big isolated piles are where you're going to find some cool stuff. So this is Miss Madeleine lining up on a nice hogfish. That was one of her goals for the trip, is she wanted to shoot a big Bahamian hog. She got a good shot on it, and she's wrestling it up to her. And it just gets it right just to her hands, and it tears out somehow. Gavin was actually down laying in the sand, and he spotted it and called her over. And yeah, she had a good shot. It just somehow tore out.
Watch him, he's gonna bleed out.
He's right here. He's gonna...
So from the surface, we could tell the fish was bleeding pretty bad. So typically it's going to go set somewhere and unfortunately slowly bleed out. But in that case, you really want to keep an eye on it because it's going to go die somewhere. So we're following it. It was moving around quite a bit. It sat under this rock right here. It's hard to see. I'll zoom in a little bit.
Just catch your breath. Go get another shot.
And right when she went to take another drop on it, because we thought it was going to bleed out there, it takes off and we continue to follow it. Madeleine has trouble with her ears. You can see her step diving. Sometimes her ears will lock up. That's why she bailed on that one.
Yeah, right here.
This is Mr. Gavin down there giving it a look. We saw it went around this corner, swam into this actually really nice ledge. There was a small grouper in there, Gavin said, but that's Gavin down there trying to put eyes on it. We had a feeling it bled enough that it was going to find somewhere and settle. We just needed to put a shot in it to secure it.
You sit tucked up in there?
You can see it.
Look it up, he's gone. It's a huge hole for the group.
Here's Miss Madeleine doing her thing. Trying to get eyes on it. And just to be safe, I couldn't tell where she hit it. I wanted to just look and see, and I saw it was kind of on the other side of this rock, so I wanted to just be sure and put a second shot in it. I really don't like injuring fish and leaving them, so just wanted to be double sure that we were going to get this fish out of here.
We got him. I should go pull it out. Huh?
Mr. Gavin doing some hands-on work here. He was double checking her shot. I didn't realize it was actually in a different hole than what she shot it. It kind of swam around this little pillar, but he was pulling my spear out because her initial shot was just fine.
So I gotta go pull him out.
Hold on, what do you mean?
Go get him. He's on your end now. We released mine from it.
Oh, okay.
I think it was about 47 to the sand here, and Madeleine normally has issues right around the 35 to 40 foot mark with her ears. So she'd give it one go, and if she couldn't get it out, I'd give her a hand. Don't want to risk ruining the rest of the trip over one fish, you know? But that is all I have for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. We had an awesome trip. Thanks everyone that was involved. Really had an awesome time. One of those trips we'll never forget. I will see y'all next week.
Wow.
Big ol' hoggy doggy, baby.
I don't know. He's a small guy. That's all I work.
Good job, baby. Give me some. Thanks for the help, Gab.
Yeah.